In the scorching deserts of Mecca, where tribal pride defined identity and power shaped truth, there lived a man whose name alone carried weight, fear, and authority. Umar ibn al-Khattab was not an ordinary man. Tall, physically imposing, sharp-minded, and fiercely loyal to the traditions of his people, he embodied the strength of Quraysh. Yet, beneath that strength lay a temperament that was uncompromising and, at times, dangerously intense. This was the man who would one day become one of the greatest defenders of Islam, but his journey began on the opposite side. In the early days of Islam, Mecca was a city divided. The message of monotheism brought by Prophet Muhammad was not just spiritual, it was revolutionary. It challenged the very structure of society, dismantling idol worship, confronting injustice, and calling for equality among all people. For the powerful leaders of Quraysh, this message was a threat. Umar ibn al-Khattab stood firmly among those who opposed it. His hatred for Islam was not born from ignorance, but from conviction. He saw Islam as a force that would tear apart the unity of his people, weaken their traditions, and destabilize the order he believed in. His opposition was not passive. It was active, fierce, and relentless. He became known for his harsh stance against Muslims, showing no hesitation in confronting them publicly. His presence alone was enough to intimidate many who had accepted the new faith. Yet history often turns not on the quiet moments, but on the storms within powerful individuals. One day, the tension inside Umar reached its peak. Frustration, anger, and a burning sense of duty pushed him toward a decision that would alter the course of his life, and the future of Islam. He resolved to put an end to the message of Muhammad once and for all. Armed and determined, Umar set out through the streets of Mecca with a singular purpose. His stride was firm, his face hardened by resolve. This was not a man wavering in doubt. This was a man convinced he was about to save his society. But fate had something else in store. On his way, he encountered a man who, sensing Umar's intention, redirected his path with a startling revelation: members of his own family had already embraced Islam. This was not just surprising, it was deeply personal. Umar's anger shifted direction. Instead of continuing his path toward the Prophet, he turned toward his sister's house. The same determination remained, but now it was mixed with disbelief and outrage. Inside that modest home, something profound was taking place. Words of revelation were being recited, verses that carried a power unlike anything Umar had ever encountered. When Umar entered, tension filled the space. The calm atmosphere was replaced by fear and urgency. Yet what followed was not just confrontation, it was transformation in its earliest form. Amid the intensity of that moment, Umar encountered the Quran not as a distant critic, but as a listener. The words he heard were not poetry, nor were they the ramblings of a poet. They carried depth, authority, and a clarity that struck directly at the heart. For a man known for his intellect, this was not easy to dismiss. The verses began to dismantle something inside him, not his strength, but his certainty. The shift within Umar did not happen in a single instant, but it happened with undeniable force. The same man who had set out with the intention to destroy Islam now felt compelled to understand it. His anger cooled, replaced by a seriousness that was even more powerful. With a changed heart but the same commanding presence, Umar set out once again, this time not as an enemy, but as a seeker of truth. With a changed heart but the same commanding presence, Umar set out once again, this time not as an enemy, but as a seeker of truth. When he reached the place where the Prophet was staying, the atmosphere was tense. Those inside knew Umar's reputation. His arrival was not taken lightly. But Umar was no longer the man who had left his home earlier that day. He entered with purpose, carrying neither arrogance nor aggression, but a readiness to accept what he had once rejected. In that moment, history witnessed one of its most remarkable transformations. Umar ibn al-Khattab embraced Islam. His acceptance of Islam was not quiet. It was not hidden. Umar was not the type of man to conceal what he believed in. Where others practiced their faith in secrecy due to fear, Umar's presence changed the equation entirely. Islam was no longer something confined to hidden gatherings. With Umar among them, Muslims found a new confidence. His courage became their shield. His voice became their declaration. For the first time, Muslims prayed openly at the Kaaba without fear. The same man who once terrified them now stood beside them, defending the very faith he had sought to destroy. This was not just a conversion, it was a turning point for the entire Muslim community. Umar's transformation did not end with his acceptance of Islam. In many ways, it had just begun. His personality remained strong, but it was now guided by faith rather than tribal pride. His sense of justice, once tied to tradition, was now rooted in divine guidance. He became known not just for his strength, but for his fairness, his discipline, and his unwavering commitment to truth. Where injustice existed, Umar stood against it. Where weakness appeared, he reinforced it. Where doubt crept in, he replaced it with certainty. His role in the early Muslim community grew rapidly. He became a trusted companion of the Prophet, known for his insight and his ability to distinguish right from wrong with remarkable clarity. The story of Umar ibn al-Khattab is not just about transformation, it is about the power of truth to reshape even the strongest opposition. It is a reminder that strength alone is not enough. Direction matters. Umar did not lose his strength when he embraced Islam. He redirected it. The same determination that once fueled his opposition became the force that protected a growing faith. The same voice that once rejected Islam became one of its most powerful defenders. His journey teaches that change is not a sign of weakness, but of courage. It shows that even the most unlikely individuals can become the greatest allies of truth. And above all, it stands as a testament to the idea that guidance can reach any heart, no matter how distant it may seem. From a man who set out to silence Islam to one who stood at its forefront, Umar ibn al-Khattab's story is one of the most powerful narratives in history. It is a story of conviction, confrontation, reflection, and ultimately, transformation. A story that continues to inspire millions, not just because of where it began, but because of where it led. Umar did not just change his path. He changed history.